Hey everybody, Tom here. So this is the next part of my sewing room makeover video. Last time we were waiting on something to be fixed on the wall, a problem with the plasterwork, and we were waiting for the paint to come back in stock. Well, finally, 6 months later, the problem on the wall has now been fixed and I have the paint that I'm going to be painting with. So you also notice that I've got all these shelf brackets on the walls now. So these are up and they're all taped ready to be painted. And what I've just done is I've spent the last hour taping up with painter's tape all the skirting, doors, and then round the window as well. And then just finished doing these shelves, and you can see these are the lines where we were trying to get everything even and lined up with the wall. So we're ready to paint. The white paintwork, doors and skirtings and things doesn't need done because the house is still fairly new. So we're just painting the walls. We're painting this colour, which is lemon, I believe, lemon something. And hopefully it will only take 2 coats. There are a couple of holes, nail pops and things that need to be fixed where the house is settled. There'll be a bit of cracking and stuff. That should be dead easy. And it will be hopefully a fairly simple room to paint. Most difficult part is probably holding the radiator off the wall while I paint behind it, but that should be okay. Hopefully it's going to look nice and fresh when it's finished. And we have a long shelf here, and then we have 2 short shelves here, and then this is going to be our pegboard here, and then over here on this wall we're going to have some quilt artwork and some mini quilts hanging up. And then going to see, I've been trying to get fabric for a new Roman blind for this, and something in grey with a bit of texture to it, but having a bit of difficulty finding fabrics that are in stock due to supply issues with COVID, or fabrics that are wide enough to make the blind and also the seam allowances that we need for it. So might just have to put the old blind back up in the meantime until I can find something. But yeah, so finally, after 6 months, making some progress. So I will try and keep you updated as I'm painting without getting paint all over my camera. And next time you see this room, it will be looking lovely and lemony. Okay, so here we are, mid-paint, mid-makeover. The first coat of yellow is on the walls. As you can see, it's kind of dark in some places, so it's still wet, but it does dry in a little bit lighter. It's looking good, very happy. It's very yellow, but you know, it's nice. Second coat to do now. Some touching up to do on the white paint where the yellow has slipped, and hopefully 2 coats is enough. But there are a few spots that may need a 3rd coat, so we'll let you see it when it's finished and it's all dry. In case anybody that asks what colour this is Vanilla Sunday by Dulux, which is a UK, probably a European brand actually. So it's very thick, it's very creamy, goes on really nice and easy, and gives a nice coverage. But there are some scratches and scrapes that need just a little bit more paint to cover them. So, but yeah, it's a nice paint, nice colour. So if you're wondering what it is, that's what it is, Vanilla Sunday. So here we are then, we have the finished painted room. So this is the next day. It was too dark to film last night. This is how it's looking. Colours turned out nice. Paintwork's looking good. These are the shelves that you saw the brackets for. So these are oak scaffolding boards. So they're nice and chunky. They're still to be screwed in. Nice and sturdy for holding all my bits and pieces. We're going to have a pegboard here on the wall that's going to be painted grey. I'm going to get all my rulers hanging up there, get them nice and organised and tidy, and stop them getting scratched and warped lying in the cupboard. We've got new desks coming. So actually, instead of this table, what we're going to be doing is an L-shaped desk here, so the entire width of that wall, and then down here to the radiator. And that's going to give me a sewing station, cutting station and a pressing station, and this is leaving, so this will go. And what I'm looking for is under counter drawer units, so they'll go under the table, one at each side, and that's where I'll store my fabric and bits and pieces, and then I've got lots of project boxes for storing things that I'm working on and scraps of fabric and things like that to try and keep the room nice and tidy. This wall up here, I've ordered something very special for up here, so you need to tune in for part 3 to see what that is. But I'm also going to hang a few mini quilts up here, and then maybe put more mini quilts in there to decorate, or just leave it blank depending on how it looks. I don't want the room to feel too busy or to feel too overwhelmed. Needing to get a new light shade, something maybe a bit darker just to contrast the yellow, because whilst it looks okay in the light, at night time it doesn't quite fit. And I'm considering changing this blind for curtains and Venetian blinds. So that Roman blind is never really sat right. So it kind of gets all tangled up here, and then it sits squint. It was very cheap, temporary, kind of meant to be a holder until we decided what we were doing in here. So I'm thinking of getting a nice kind of geometric patterned curtain that would come just to kind of underneath here, with some Venetian blinds behind it, which would be great for filming, keep the sunlight out. So yeah, really pleased with how it turns out. I've still got a couple of bits and pieces to do, like there's some yellow flecks of paint on the white paintwork that need to be touched up in places, but yeah, I'm really happy. So next job is to tidy this cupboard out. Not even going to show you what's in there. Tidy it out, make space on the floor, and then I can store my filming lights and tripods and things in there out of the way. But yeah, the goal is to get as much space to be as tidy and organised as possible, so the room looks nice and neat. It's nice and easy to work in without having to feel like you have to unpack tons of stuff to get in, or tripping and falling over things, you know, knocking irons on the floor and melting the carpet. Waiting on the desks. New desks coming, and they'll hopefully be in the next week or so. Might have a new sewing machine coming too, perhaps. Waiting on stock from a supplier, so it might be a little dukey appearing here. So that's it for part 2 of my update, and in part 3 we'll have the finished room looking beautiful. So don't forget to subscribe so that you can stay up to date with my makeover, and check out my other videos, in particular behind the blocks, where I make classic and modern quilt blocks, and check out my 7 things I wish I'd known as a beginner quilter. Till next time, take care.